We are back to the daily vlogs uploaded on a daily schedule. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those videos of my camping trip last weekend. It took 2 days, I believe I didn't make a video because I was catching up on editing. But I'm back for a daily vlog, and I'm just finishing up my work from home shift today. Me and Reagan are actually about to go to a cool little graphic design meetup that we go to every month. I always do a video recap of the event, so I'm very excited to use my new camera there for the first time. The last one, looking back, I was like, oh, that could look a lot better. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out this week. I want you to talk for the vlog.
Talk for the vlog.
How was Ask and Give?
It was great. It was really good.
What did you think of the new location?
I really liked it. It was at Next Now. It's a experience design studio and like immersive media. They're really cool. Super cool of them to let us use their space. Super fancy space. They gave us pizza and beer. Very cool people. The topic for tonight was design horror stories, where we talked about some of our more negative experiences and, you know, the lessons that we learned from them. So that was super cool, and it kind of helped us get to know each other more. You want to say hi to Jamie?
Yeah. Jamie.
More B-roll?
Do you want to be in the vlog?
Absolutely.
You guys want to be in the vlog?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
What was some of your guys' horror stories?
I never got to tell mine.
I didn't have one. So
I have one.
You have one?
I had a client tell me over a Zoom meeting that he was going to call the police on me because I took deliverables off his website that he didn't pay for. They never paid me. I had to fight them for it, and then he said, I'm going to call the police on you for taking the things off my Squarespace website. So I got my brother on the Zoom call, and we never explained who my brother was. I sort of implied that he was my lawyer. And they got that money taken care of, and I've never worked with that client again.
A horror story, I guess, would be back in school when I had theater for my client. They took forever to agree on what their title wanted to be for one of the plays, and the title ended up being like a sentence long, which I don't know if Reagan remembers this, but the title took like half of the page, and like the illustrations and like the info for the plays ended up being like secondary to the title, which I guess it should be that way, but
It's too long.
It was too long. It was
I remember
too long.
you worked on that project like all the way into the summer.
I did. Oh yeah, they hired me, but like it was kind of shitty because they were like still making changes up until like when it was released.
That's the worst.
So it was like an ongoing like evolution of like several plays.
Dang.
There was never like a cutoff. Like, all right, final files are delivered. You're good. It was just like dumpster fire. Like, oh, we need to change this, or this director changed, blah blah blah.
And Jamie, what's something you took away from tonight?
That's a good question. Don't accept projects that you don't think are going to be fun.
My takeaway, I had a contract for this job, so I did that right, but the name of the legal name of the organization was not on the contract, and so they got to sort of run away and pretend that they were never involved. So if you sign a contract, make sure that the person who's paying you, that legal entity needs to be on it, and make sure you can always withhold deliverables until you get payment in full. You have to keep all of that under lock and key, and so you get all of your money, and because I did that, I was able to get paid. So that's my takeaway.
My takeaway, I got this one from Irina's horror story. Basically, to always stand up for yourself when you feel like you're being overworked, and to not let people dogpile you.
Very relevant advice.
I know.
It's funny because Irina's really bad at doing that. Irina can't say no.
Oh, I gotta say,
You're talking about how
can't
she's
say no.
she's
I
like a
tell her to
workaholic.
say
she didn't do
Yeah.
it in her story. That was the moral of the story because she
Oh.
didn't stand up for herself.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it's still a lesson.
You know,
Yeah.
she has an identical story to you.
To doing
She did free work for somebody, and,
Yeah.
and they took it. They're like,
Okay, so it turns
they,
out
they
the
ghosted her though.
the work I did for Sunflower, they paid me for that, but they still implied that they were going to hire me,
Yeah, that's bullshit.
and then they just said,
Oh,
"Oh,
yes.
we're gonna take your work, but not give you the job."
Never do spec work. Never
Yeah.
do spec work. If you're doing work that they can use, you're getting paid for it. Never do spec
They
work.
did pay me. They did pay me, but I still was like heartbroken that they didn't want to hire me
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they led me on like they were gonna hire me.
Yeah. Sometimes in the interview process, they'll be like, "Oh, well, let's do a little test." We don't do little tests. Not
Nope,
for free.
don't do. That's another takeaway. Don't do little tests.
We're gonna be here for another 3 hours.
Yeah,
That's
don't-
another takeaway.
It's getting cold.
Yeah.
Alright.
There you
Alright.
go.
We're gonna get run over. Just got back home from Ask and Give. It was a great night. Got Reagan's take on the event. It was super fun filming everything that happened there. Had some great conversation, met some new people, talked to a photographer who worked at the studio, which was like the space we were renting for the event, which was super cool. It's like a cool little design firm that we were having the event at, so it was fun seeing the new space. We normally have it every month at a brewery, so it was actually our first time using that space and meeting those people, so it was super cool, like connecting with new creatives. Do you guys hear that? Okay, so the last part of this vlog, there is going to be some language. I just need to report on this stuff that just happened on my block. So if you're a child or if you're someone who doesn't want to hear about altercations, you can just skip to the end of the video. It was great seeing you. Had a great day. Now let's get into some drama. Okay, guys, we are outside my house right now. There's a guy in the street down the block. There's a guy in the middle of the street. He's yelling maniacally and like throwing people's Halloween decorations at their houses. And he's just holding up traffic. Let me see if I can get him on video. Oh, is that him? That's him. That's him on the block. That's him on the corner. This guy in the gray hoodie. Why not? You can't see us from here. Yeah, he's there. He's walking. He's walking down Jansen. As you just heard in the last clip, I was recapping our night and we started hearing some yelling outside of our window that's open right here in our living room. I was like, heard yelling and we were like, what is going on? And we started hearing yelling and banging and violent, destructive noises coming from the street. And so I ran outside and I just see this guy who is apparently, I didn't realize that at the time, but is apparently our neighbor 2 doors down. And apparently he's heavily intoxicated and it's like attempting to break into the neighbor further away from us house who has like a very nice house. And he's trying to like break into it and he's like throwing things at the windows. He's yelling crazy stuff like at the top of his lungs. And it's just out in the street and everyone heard. Like I was out there, I got some footage of it because I didn't know if some crazy stuff would happen that you need footage of the events. You never know. Eventually, me and Reagan went down there. I ended up calling the cops because I thought this guy was gonna like hurt somebody from like what he was saying. And when the cops came and I realized it was the cops, me and Reagan actually went and walked down the street a little bit and we saw that this guy had like went to his neighbor's house, which is our neighbor. It's like on the same block as us. And he ripped out one of their gutters from their house and like had bent it all up and smashed it. It's October, so they have Halloween decorations out. He had torn off Halloween decorations and like threw them on the ground and stepped on them and stuff like that. He was also just out in the middle of the street when we were out there. I was like filming him. He was like stopping traffic and telling them to like get out of here and like just talking to random people like crazy. And yeah, so the cops came and then me and Reagan went upstairs because Reagan wanted to mind their business, let people have their business. She doesn't think I should be posting as much as I am on here, but I just want to recount like what happened. Also, I'm a nosy person. I used to work for a newspaper. I'm supposed to get up in everybody's business. So pretty much the cops came, the owner, like the father of the house that like he was attacking came out and they had like an altercation face to face, and apparently this other neighbor had been like creeping on his daughters for a while and like saying crazy stuff to them. And so they were just like in a screaming match. And since the intoxicated guy was on his property at that point, the cops really couldn't do anything, which was super weird because like there's evidence like he broke the other guy's property and like damaged his house, but they couldn't really do anything about it because he was on his, when they got there, he was on his own property. I don't really know the laws around that and like why that's the case, but they couldn't like take him in or drug test him or do anything like that because he was on his property. They got into a huge screaming match, and so I kind of was very nosy, and I just kind of stood back on our property so they couldn't see me, and I was just like listening and kind of like video recording the whole thing in case they got into a physical fight. That's just me being nosy. This is who I am, guys, okay? I was standing there. Eventually another pair of neighbors walked up, and they're like, is this still going on? Because this went on for about like 45 minutes. This was like yelling and screaming and stuff like that. So they walked out and we like talked. I hadn't met them before, but we were like, yo, this guy's crazy. The reason I first came down is because the sounds of like banging, it sounded like someone was outside like hitting cars, and we park our car out on the street, so this other neighbor was also worried about that because he also parked his car on the street. So we both went there for genuine, honest reasons. We weren't just snooping. We were genuinely worried for our property, but that was thankfully not the case for us. But anyway, that's the end of our night. Great day. Very interesting ending. Didn't expect this. My friend Rachel is coming to spend the night tonight. My good friend Anna's sister. So she's spending the night tonight. She has, I think, a Harry Styles concert tomorrow. So she's spending the night tonight and then possibly tomorrow after the concert. So she's flying into O'Hare in about an hour. It's currently 11:40. Oh my gosh, it's so late. I have to edit this vlog. So she won't be here until like 1 or 1:30. So it's going to be a late night either way. And I have work tomorrow at 8 in the morning downtown. So it's time for me to get to editing. Peace.